Okay, perfect. All right. Well, I'm excited to have you guys here. I know that I can see your names all here, but a lot of you are calling in, so I don't get to see your beautiful faces. But I'm super excited because this is the second round of this course. I don't know if you guys know the backstory. So I created this course over a year ago and had 100 people take the beta to kind of look through and see what else could I add to it. I've added way more since I've been learning a lot more in the last couple months, and well, actually for the last year. So I added more stuff to it. I wanted to see what is it that people really need. And one of the things that I got was, we really need more of you. So there's videos, there's workshops, or there's worksheets, there's things for you to do in the course. But they really get stuck, like not knowing how to move forward. So I was like, okay, let's put some office hours into this, relaunch this, and move forward. So I really want people to succeed. So I'm going to give you whatever it is you need in order to make that work out. So I'm going to unmute Melissa and say hi. Tell us who you are and what you are here to share with the world.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and I currently own Snow Call Me Fit Body Boot Camp, which is a high-intensity interval group personal training gym. And I'm still trying to figure everything out, but I feel like I'm here to help heal, help make people live healthier lives versus it, whether it be through exercise or, mental health or spirituality, whatever it may be, whatever comes to me down the road. But yes, that's
and anti-bullying in schools. Let's not get yes, I'm excited about that as well.
Which Casey just found all of his old curriculum and stuff like that, so I'm gonna look over that soon in this weekend, so I'm so excited about it.
Yay, awesome. All right. Phoenix, I'm gonna unmute you. Tell us who you are and what your message is to share with the world.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. It did work. So I'm Phoenix, and I'm an author. I wrote a book called Turning Trials into Triumphs, The Way the Phoenix. And my whole life has been about overcoming adversity, and it has been severe and ongoing. And so I have a lot of experience in finding what works and what doesn't work. So my message to the world is, no matter how severe your trauma has been, including up to PTSD, that you can live the life that you really want to with the right tools and resources. So I've spent a lifetime professionally, 29 years now in massage therapy, specializing in working with trauma survivors. And now I'm working with others through my speaking and using mind and body techniques. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. My target audience is, you really helped with that assignment in helping me to figure out where I wanted to go. So I want to work with veterans and other trauma survivors, but they don't have a lot of money. So I'm going to do crowdfunding or working with philanthropists to reach them. Ooh, and then I also want to work with women entrepreneurs like myself, because at least 30% of them are trauma survivors.
Right. And what about if you got funded by the military to come in and do things for the military?
I'm all for that, but when I did go to the Veterans Resource Center, and they all said, we don't fund that kind of thing, but they all have little side groups that they've made for funding. So I've got a couple of resources with that. But that is where I want to start. I want to help the ones that hurt the most.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, so just a little side note quickly, but my husband, when he was in the Navy, the Fleet and Family Resource Center is at every single base, and especially for the Navy, they're all called different things and different whatever. Different branches. There we go. Branches. There we go. I couldn't figure out the word. And but they had. I mean, I talked to them about coming in and doing a spouse, like coming back from deployment with a spouse, my husband and I both teaching it. And they were really open to that on Whidbey Island. And so it would be interesting. So I'll talk to him and see if I can get some more information for you and see if I can
That would
maybe even
be
help you out.
excellent. I
Yeah.
took Qigong to the resource center and they were very receptive. And
Awesome.
it has been proven to be extremely effective for working with vets with PTSD. So
Awesome. Yay.
yeah.
Loving that. All right. Thanks, Phoenix.
Uh-huh.
Rata, let's unmute you. Here you go. Just tell us who you are and what your message is to share with the world, or what you're doing in speaking in order to advance your career. Because I know we met at Women in Tech.
Yes, yeah. I just met you for 10 minutes last week. And it just so happens that I have a little bit of time now in my career, and I'm starting a social enterprise. So I thought this was very timely. So sorry that I just signed up last minute.
Okay.
Yeah. So my idea is that we are making such tremendous progress in technology, and we can take the benefits of this digital technology to bring solutions to some of the world's poorest people. So, for example, I grew up in India, and the government is not able to provide K-12 education to all the children, but using video and live feeds and so on, you can actually bridge that gap, and there's going to be Wi-Fi available in the villages and so forth. So all children should be able to get educated and be, included in the global economy.
I love that. Do you know Chayatra, the little Polly?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I need to introduce you to, because I just wrote her TED Talk, and it is Wi-Fi is the new electricity. And it's about taking Wi-Fi into cities, into rural cities and around the world to give them more digital access and all of that. So I would love to connect you. And she also, she runs Women in Cloud. Awesome. So I will make sure I do a connection for the two of you. She's a really close friend of mine on top of being my client, but she could really help you and give you some info, like really help move that movement, because that's what she does really well. So that would be awesome.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
And when is she speaking on Wi-Fi being the new electricity?
She pitched for all three. She's pitched for 3 TEDx's, so we'll see if she gets chosen. I know that they did their first round of picking and did their interviews for Seattle, so I don't think she got Seattle, but she still has the potential of getting Everett or Spokane at the same time. But she also does some speaking locally too, so we'll make sure we get you connected so you'll know when she's doing that, and maybe be a part of that, because she's doing some really cool stuff. So it'd be awesome.
Thank you, Erin.
Yeah, of course. That's the other thing. Like, you guys need somebody. You need to connect with somebody. I'm your girl. Like, this is one of my superpowers. Is I'm a master connector. I have this big Rolodex in my head, and so when people say I need this, I'm like, who do I know? Oh, you need to meet so and so. And so anytime you need that, just reach out to me, send me an email, send me a private message, and I will get you that information as soon as I can and make a connection for you, because that is definitely one of the things that I love to do, is making connections for people, and kind of fun to just watch how things unfold, because sometimes you don't know why you're connecting to people and what could come of it. And so then it's like, ooh, what happened? I want to know. And then you see big things happening. And so it's kind of fun to play with that. So I'm always here for all of you for that. So just reach out if you need that. So I wanted to go into, I'm going to share my screen, see if this is all working. For those who don't know, last week my computer totally died. It got corrupted. It was only 5 months. I've only had it 5 months. I lost everything on it, which included my book that I was writing. And so I have to be in total surrender about that. But so I'm having some technical stuff happening. So if you didn't get things on time, I was just downloading Zoom right before this call because it wasn't on the new computer. So I apologize for that. But let's go in here and see. So I wanted to go through if you have, did everybody, if you did not, raise your hand, access to the online course? And Phoenix, I guess I could unmute you because you don't have.
Yeah.
Did you? Okay. Did you finally get, oh yeah, you got in because you posted. I remember seeing that.
I did. I figured it out last night and it was in my library. At first it wasn't. And
okay.
so I waited a long time. So yeah, are we supposed to complete the exercises before we do this?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you can go in the week that we're doing it, so between, like, I would say you have access to all of them already. It's all open. I didn't make it only certain ones. So you have access to all of it. Each week I will be going through what this week is, right? So if you do the work, it helps you get faster along. And if you're getting stuck with something, right? So if you do the homework and you're like, oh, I don't really know about this. I don't know if I'm doing this right. That's when you bring those questions here and I'll help answer them and help you move forward through them. And
Perfect.
so if you can, make sure that you go in and at least try to go in and get the week worth done. It's usually like this one's two sections, but this is what it looks like. So Radha, you did not get it?
Not
Okay.
yet.
I will send, after I get off of here, I'll make sure you get the extra email. When you signed up, it should also, sometimes this is what happens. Kajabi sends you another email, but it goes into spam instead of when I go in and reset your password. So I'll send you one that says reset your password. And so you'll just go in there and you can log in. Okay. So you'll know exactly where it is. Mm-hmm. And in there, you can leave comments and all this stuff. But this is what it looks like. And so week 1, I wanted to go through that. We do your big vision. So this is really just one for you to start visioning out what your message and what you're here to teach the world, right? So you can see, if I wrote it out, so in case you wanted to ever print it and do it again, if you want to just listen to it, you can just listen here. So when you turn on these things, you'll always get the video. This one doesn't have a video. This is all audio. But I wanted you to kind of see how the course looks and how you can work through that, because that's the first part that makes all of this easier. And if you guys, since you're all on mute, if you have questions, just raise your hand thingy. Or you don't have to, you can raise your actual hand if I can see you. But Phoenix, you'd have to type in that you're raising your hand. But on here, this helps you kind of walk through. And so you get to see, there's a video. And then you can, after you're done, you can click completed. So you can actually go through this. And here's Phoenix's post she got to write. Mary, some of the people who've gone through this have all been in here posting their visualization. So it's kind of great because you get to see the other people. And I think I put you all in the Facebook group. Melissa, did you get on the Facebook group?
Yes, I am on the Facebook group.
Okay, perfect. Because I think I know I put the other 2 in today to make sure. And so I just want to make sure you got it. And so you can post in here. This is in the closed private on our, only the people in here. And the group is also a secret group. So on Facebook, it's also a place for you to get some feedback. Because as we're going through this course, you're going to have things like crafting your talk or maybe crafting your offer, things like that. And so I really want you to be able to play with the other people in the group. I think there's like 100 people or 80 some people now in the group. So you'll have access to other people to get feedback. Because I think that's the one thing as independent business owners, as people doing this, we're kind of the lone rangers out here. And I don't want people to feel like you don't have someone to bounce ideas off of. So here's a perfect group for you to say, hey, here's my one sheet. Here's my offer. Here's this. What do you think? And getting some feedback from other people that either are already speakers, wanting to be speakers, but maybe they're in a different industry, right? So maybe you speak in tech and you speak in health and fitness, but it would be great for you to bounce ideas off of someone who isn't in your industry to see if it lands for people outside of that. So I think that's always great, a great opportunity to get that kind of information and instant feedback. And in there, I will always be looking through them and getting comments and all of that stuff as well. So let me see here in chat. Is this how I raise my hand? Well, I do see that you typed in. So it does work, Phoenix. How about this? Oh yeah, Melissa has her hand up. It's like a little lower hand, raise her hand. Okay, see, it's in the corner. I don't know how to do it from my screen. I'm like, now I'm playing with the techie stuff. So Phoenix, I can read your text, and then I'm gonna lower Melissa's hand and unmute her. I'll just keep you guys unmuted as long as we don't have any loud stuff in the background. Okay, Melissa, do you have a question?
Yeah, you said, so the Facebook group that I'm in, or at least that I saw, had like 13 members, or they're separate ones?
That's because you're in my private coaching.
Oh, okay.
So I will make sure I get you in this. I'm gonna put it right now down. So I need Melissa in Facebook group. And Radha, I'm gonna send her an email.
wasn't sure if there was a difference. I figured there probably was.
Password. Yeah, when I say there's 80 people and you're like, no, there's only 13.
I'm missing something here.
Yeah. Okay, so I got both of those. Phoenix, did you have something to say, love?
No, I just was
You want-
making sure that I could participate too. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm just
Later
gonna
I'll
keep you guys.
talk about the other group that I wanted to target.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to, I'm just going to keep you all unmuted. So there's only three of us in here right now. So it's not, or four of us. So it's not so bad. So in this one, you'll do your big vision. And I like this to start it off, because I think when we go and think about how we're going to affect the world, sometimes it's, it's smaller than actually the big vision. And so I am a huge big vision girl. I always see the big, the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, you think you might be serving only 1,000 people. I see the 10,000 to 100,000 people that you're serving. And so I want you to take this visualization and walk through it and actually experience that and kind of go, okay, if I'm walking through my stuff, here's what it feels like. And I think it's really great. I've used this so many times in working with my clients, and they all love it. I'm always like, really, is it that powerful? And they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I had so much more to say or the impact I could make. And so this is a really great one. So Phoenix, I know you went through it. How did it go for you?
Well, I've done some exercises like this, but the way that you worded it and put it together, it was a lot more creative. I love the visualization, and some new things came out of that I hadn't, thought of before, because, you're in a different state, engaging your whole brain.
Right.
But also then a little bit more clarity about the two groups that I want to work with. So if I work only with vets who are in crisis and trauma, that will be a real downer for me.
Right.
I want to help them, but I also want to work with women, particularly like myself, because that's who's attracted to my massage business. And so I know that I can now reach a bigger audience, but I don't know where the women who are making the 100K to 500 or more are congregating. I don't want to go to the little tiny business networking meetings, because they're kind of a waste of money and you don't get referrals. I know that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's it. And you can address that later if you want to, but that's the one thing that came of it. I got everything except that. And that's the $1 million question.
Great.
Where do I find them?
Okay. Well, I work a lot with those kind of people, those kind of women. So,
well, yeah, the tools that I have put together are they're fresh, they're new. And the way that I put them together is kind of unique. And I am a survivor, so I absolutely know it works. And I've worked with hundreds of others. So I want to take them to the next level, because like I said, at least 30% of them are struggling with issues that keep them from reaching that peak performance until they resolve those. And talk therapy doesn't work for a lot of people.
Right. Or it only works like a certain level.
Right. You get close and you see it, but you can't quite reach it.
Yeah. You're aware of it, but then what?
Right.
Totally get you. Yeah. And that's kind of the work I was doing this last weekend. It was funny. I've never been to a conference where I don't take notes. I had this little notebook with me, tiny, and I only took 2 pages of notes, and it was actually just the words she said when she did her $1 million pitch on stage.
Nice.
So it was funny because it was all experiential. It was a lot of visualizations. It was a lot of just getting in there and releasing stuff. And it was very energetic work. And so it was definitely a difference, and so I saw a lot of what you're talking about in that room. And it was definitely, there's some people that really need some work. And I can see, even in a group session, they become aware, but then what? They don't know what to do with it. So it was great to have the next step.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So this is the first one. The second one is expert positioning. So this is something I find a lot of people struggle with, because it's our own intellectual property, right? So what I feel is, like, a lot of people come and are like, well, I have all these skills, and that's great, but you have to be able to explain yourself in a way that somebody could refer to you. A lot of times we don't get referrals if we're not clear on who we serve. Right? If I say I'm a real estate agent, you're like, well, I know a lot of those. And it just kind of goes back into that box. But you don't really pay attention until someone says, I'm a real estate agent. I sell, what did he tell me? I sell storage unit facilities. No tenant, no toilets, no problems. The guy I met that said that to me, I met him 7 years ago, and I still remember his expert position, his story, his little one line that it really made sense to me. And so I really want you to think about as owning that you're an expert. First, that's the biggest thing. Most of us don't own that we're the expert in something. We're always thinking, oh, I need a little more training here. I need a little more of this. I need a little more of that. But the thing that you don't realize is you are already an expert in everything you've experienced in your life. So I'm an expert in how to survive loss. My dad died when I was 10. My mom got cancer when I was 14. I know about loss, right? But I'm not a loss, like I wouldn't consider myself a loss expert, right? So I want you to start thinking about everything you've experienced in your life, you are an expert in because you've gotten through it and you've learned from it. And most of the people we're here to serve are a couple steps behind us. So you don't need to know everything. You just need to know, okay, I was here and now I'm here, and how to get from point A to point B. If you can teach people how to get from point A to point B, you're an expert in something. And I know a lot of people struggle with that. So I'm going to ask, Phoenix, how do you feel about when you really own your expert positioning? Do you feel like you are the expert? Do you struggle with that? Tell me how you feel about it.
No, I definitely own that. I talk about being an empowerment guide.
Okay.
Because I feel like that is really the message of my whole life. You can take any kind of resource or information, but until you internalize it, embody that, it's not going to make the change that you want. So yeah, when I stand up in front of an audience, they listen, and I feel really empowered by that. But I also get really excited. It's just super, I don't know. It's like a high. I have trouble going to sleep afterwards because I know I'm reaching them, and I can see in their eyes and their body language that it's making a difference.
Yeah.
I have all of this training, I have all this experience, and I have all this personal kind of consultation one-on-one. And now I'm ready to take it to the next level because I've got my daughter to take over my business for massage. So I won't lose everything, and I'm ready to go. I want to save lives. I want to reach millions of people, literally save lives. So yes, that you have to own that. I am the message.
Yes. And I think that's sometimes hard for us because it's like me, like this, like I'm still the little girl that grew up in North Idaho, and when I'm on big stages or I'm walking red carpets and people want to interview me and all this stuff, or like, this is so weird, but I've been at a conference and people are like, oh my gosh, you're Erin Loman-Jack. And I'm like, yes. Like it becomes this weird thing, and you're like, but I'm still just this little girl from North Idaho, and so it really is owning that and knowing that you are making a difference and an impact is huge. So good job. I love it.
Thanks.
Radha, how about for you?
I think if I prepare, I can project it, but by nature, I'm kind of modest, so I will not speak up if I'm not prepared. If I know I'm going to speak about innovation or something like that, and I have prepared a presentation, then I might not even look at my presentation, but I can own up to the expertise. But if I'm sort of put on the spot, or if I have generally come to attend something, I don't project that, because I'm naturally a shy person. Yeah. So I'm articulate, but I'm shy as a human being,
Yeah. So. Well, and in culturally, I work a lot with Indians. I don't know. I'm like, I got a little tribe of you all, especially in tech, because I have you all over in tech. You guys come to me, especially for enunciation and all these different fun things. But what I do love is that every single one that I sit in front of, I'm like, first and foremost, it's okay to be seen and heard. Because a lot of times you guys are told to be quiet as kids and just kind of be seen, just be there, but you can't talk, you can't speak up. And so it's interesting to then come across that, because to motivate and change the world, you got to speak up, and you got to have opinions, and you got to have things to say around your topic. And so people look at you as the guru, they look at you as the expert, and so they expect that from you. And so I love to challenge you on that and really get you to own and stand in that, regardless if you're prepared. I mean, it's always great to be prepared. But sometimes, you get you get the interview people, like, so I get a lot of podcasts, right, and radio shows and stuff, and sometimes I don't know anything they're going to ask me. I have no idea. And I have to just know that I know my stuff enough that I can roll out extraneously and tell you anything, right? And so I want you to get to that place where you feel like, if like at the event you guys all raise your hand and you ask me questions, I have no idea what you're going to ask me, and I have to know enough that I feel confident to then answer your questions. So I want you to start feeling that. And when you do this visualization this week, I want you to embody that. I really want you to start feeling like, okay, I know enough. I'm well prepared because I know my stuff. This is all me. And that's the beautiful thing that I think people don't actually realize, and this is the things we're going to work on in our talks, is that you don't have to be completely scripted if it's your information, right? Because you know this stuff. We're going to talk about storytelling. I don't have to memorize that because it's my story. And okay, to be totally honest, I didn't even know what I was going to say at the Women in Tech event. None of that was scripted. I just threw 5-6 slides together at the last minute. I'm like, oh, these would be great visuals. But I had no idea, even when I got up there, how I was going to go. And I know enough to just speak it. And so I want you to start just at least bringing that energy in, as I know enough, I'm prepared enough, and I can speak out and speak my truth. All right? All right. Hey, Melissa.
Hey.
I see up your nose there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was just your screen. How rude of me.
No, we can see the roof, but it's okay.
Oh, my bad.
So how do you feel about owning your expertise? I mean, even you can say both ways if you're talking about in fitness, and you could talk about it with the stuff you want to do in schools.
So I think that is one thing that I have been struggling with too, is owning the fact that I am a health and fitness expert, because even though I have, this has been a lifelong process for me, I have that voice in my head that tells you that, people aren't going to think that you're an expertise unless you have gone to, tons of schooling and have many, many years of experience in the field and like things like that, working with other people. And so I think that this topic has brought to my attention that I need to own that, because I feel like for the most part I'm a confident person, but I feel like there are lots of different little things like that I don't own, and therefore even if you're not saying that you're feeling that insecurity, people can still kind of feel that because you're bouncing that ball off their field, And so as for with anti-bullying, I feel more confident in saying that I'm an expert in that field because of, all the things that I did go throughout my life. And then on top of that, actually working with kids, as for, maybe TAing when I was in school, and also working for school districts as well, and working with hundreds and hundreds of children.
Yeah, so you have results. You feel like you have results, so you feel like that equals expertise.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the biggest things I always tell everyone is pick one topic to get out there until you hit $100,000 in that revenue stream. And I'll tell you why. If you have 5 topics that you speak on, and say I'm an event planner, I don't even have one sheet in front of me, but say if this was your one sheet and I had all your 5 topics written here, and I say, even someone on my team says, oh my gosh, I saw her speak. She was amazing. You should check her out. They're like, well, what topic did she speak on? And if they're kind of similar, they don't know. And they're like, well, I don't really remember. And so you don't really get known for it, right?
Right.
For me, I get known for teaching people how to get their message out, how to take their mess, create a message, and create a movement with it. So people know when they hire me to speak what I'm going to speak on. And people can refer me. They're like, oh, Erin is the best at teaching people how to speak. right? And so you really will get so many more referrals if you get known for one thing. And if you look at the experts, like look at Brendan Burchard or Tony Robbins, they got known for one thing first, and then they spread it out, right? And so I really want you to think about that, because I have so many people coming to me and saying, but I have like 10 topics, or, and you can tweak your topic. So my topic kind of relates to women in tech and the corporate thing, but I've only started working with corporate clients in this last year. And so and to be honest, I thought it was death by PowerPoint. That's not what I want to teach people. And so I going into the women in tech space and speaking on that stage, I'm like, ooh, what do these people need that's different than my entrepreneurs, or different than the thought leaders that I work with, and things like that. So you can tweak your message based on your audience, but you don't have to rewrite a speech each time you go somewhere. Like, and say the topic, I don't know, TEDx Seattle was, what was the theme? The big
Tall order.
Yeah, it's like big something. Tall order. That's pretty broad, so you can say a lot of things there. But if they were if they were really specific on something like how to change the world through technology, you could take I could take my topic and tweak it specific for people in the tech industry. So I want you to be able to tweak who your audience is, but not the message, because you've got to be known for the message. And if you look, Lisa Nichols has been telling her story about her having 17 cents in her bank account and couldn't buy diapers for her children. She's been saying that for 20 years. Bob Proctor's never changed his stuff. He still teaches the same stuff he did back then. Tony Robbins, his main things are always the same. And then he just tweaks it depending upon what audience he's speaking in front of and what events he's actually creating, right? Because he has different curriculum for his different events. But they really stay with Brendan's story is the one about his car accident. And if he's at Experts Academy, if he's at World's Greatest Speaking, if he's at High Performance Academy, or he speaks on anyone else's stage, his car accident story is always in his work and in his speech. So I want you to think about that. You get known for one thing, and then you can expand. I eventually want to write a parenting book, but I want to get known first, so then I can branch out and say, well, she's an expert there and she's really good, and so her book must be really great, because I'm not a parenting expert. I just know what's really worked for me, and the things that I tell people, like, man, you need to write a book on that. How did you learn that? How did you know that? And it's with my psychology background, a lot of that, and then a lot of learning from my first child, and then looking at my second child and saying, what could I do different? And so there's a lot of great tools I teach people on how to help their children not get all those blocks and all those negative beliefs that we have that are created when we're this age. And so I teach them how to unprogram those now, so that they don't have those 30, 40 years from now. And so I really want to be able to share that with the world, but I got to get known for something first. When people ask and this is that whole thing about having your expert positioning statement, is people say, oh, who do you know that helps people with TEDx? I get referrals all day long across the globe. People like, Erin Lumenjack's your person. You got to talk to Erin. She's the girl. So I've known so much for it that I don't even have to market it. Does that make sense to everybody?
Right.
Okay. Because that's the thing, you want it to take over so that it becomes your marketing for yourself. So please stick with one topic to make $100,000 with that topic before changing to another topic or expanding. And I know for you, Phoenix, you have one topic, but different modalities, and that's okay. I just think, your mission is to help people combat trauma, right? Or overcome trauma. So that's,
question based on that. So I took the Bill Gove speech workshop.
Mm-hmm.
You know Dawn Andrews-Siebold?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Dawn can be really negative. And she's a great teacher, but she is direct and sometimes very pointed. And so I said, this is what I want to speak about. Mental, because Steve Siebold is mental toughness. So there was a little you can't talk about mental toughness. I've lived mental toughness. She said, there is no money in working with trauma survivors. I'm like, well, if there's somebody who made his living because he was a semi-pro tennis player,
Right.
perhaps they would want to hear from an insider. But I think, and so I was really discouraged. And that was like, I took that 6 years ago and I was like, well, okay, but that's who I want to speak to. That's where my heart goes. I think she's wrong at this point with all the Me Too and stuff. And I think it's now all this preparation, it's time.
Yeah.
So do you think that I will brand myself as, oh, she's just a trauma person and she probably has issues. Maybe we don't want to listen to her.
No.
Okay, good.
No. And if you really want total feedback on that, and I hope people, because I'm going to post this in the group and on inside this course, in the Kajabi course, that you can maybe get feedback on that. I will tell you no, because almost every single person has felt like they've experienced some sort of trauma. And what I think, especially with the Me Too thing coming out right now, it's huge to be able to to go out there and be like, okay, I can help you now that you've addressed this and you've been aware of it. Now it's time to do something and move through it.
Right.
And so I really think
through it.
It's a good time.
Let it pass. Okay, great. Thank you. Because
and like I said, this weekend it was an Abundance Live, it is called Unlimited Abundance Live event. And there was probably 1,200 people in the room, and every single one of them had some trauma story.
Okay.
And and they would just, one lady, I remember she got up, she's like, my husband died, then this happened, and this, she just kept, like, she had a whole list. Like she had it and she never, and she didn't say it, like she didn't connect to the feelings around it. She just listed.
Oh yeah.
Right.
There becomes a state of dissociation.
Yeah.
And to heal, you have to kind of bring them together in a safe way so that the body can let them go.
Yeah.
So, and I know that from my massage background, so I'm definitely an expert in that. But yeah, she was just like, oh no, that's not going to happen. No money in that. And so, but that was before crowdfunding too.
Yeah.
Right. So I think there's a way, and I see people, I hear them on my table. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to live. Okay.
Yeah.
Who do you call?
Right.
Not Ghostbusters, but there's gotta be more. So, okay.
Yes.
That
You're
is
on the right track. If I didn't think that, I would tell you. I promise.
Okay.
I would have told you at the event that we had. I would have told you.
Write that talk. They said no this time, but we'll see.
Okay.
What I think is, it needs to just be my message.
Mm-hmm.
I still wrote the speech. It's going to be my trailer for what I do for my seminars and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it's mine. It's not just about TEDx. I mean, I'd love to have that on my resume, but maybe next year.
Yeah. And maybe not Seattle, maybe somewhere else. It's all good. So you're okay. I mean, there's a lot of other opportunities. And, to be honest, I don't think you actually need the TEDx platform for you to get out there in a big way. So I think
that's what I'm hoping.
You're already going to do that. And TEDx will be like the cherry on top.
I had one really quick thought. At the Veterans Resource Center, I talked to about 5 groups that are Stop the Veterans Suicides. And one man said, okay. I said, we don't really call it PTSD anymore because of the, it's not a disorder. And he said, well, we're changing it to PTSG. I said, G? He said, growth. Post-traumatic stress growth. And I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. I bet it's coined, but
yeah, I've heard it before.
I think that's the idea.
Yeah.
It's like, clearly, don't stay there.
Yeah.
But they don't want to if they had any idea how to move past it.
Yeah.
I have ideas.
I know.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
Okay. Thank you. I don't want to monopolize the call.
No, you're fine. Okay. So one of the things I want you to, we talk about this in here is buying triggers and thinking about, when you're thinking about your audience, is I want you to think about their aspirations as well. Because a lot of people think marketing to their fears and that scarcity stuff works, and I think it's gross. I don't want to be told, oh, you don't have any time for that. You don't have that. You need this course so that you can do this, or you need this to buy this. And I don't like that. You can't do this on your own. You need somebody. And I was like, that's not necessarily true. But I love thinking about marketing to their aspirations. So for all of you, how would you love to make an impact on the world, influence change, and inspire audiences to take action in their own lives? You guys are all like, yeah, because that's what the feeling, that's the aspirations that we all have. But if I said, I don't even know how to even do reverse marketing in that way, because I just don't think like that anymore. you can't do, and you can't get on these stages and make an impact because you don't know how, and you need this and you need that, and you're not good enough. And I don't, like, that's what's out there. But instead, really think about, and for you, Phoenix, you were asking me about the $100,000 to $500,000 women, is really figuring out what are their aspirations. Their aspirations are to hit 1 million, probably, right?
Oh, right. Yes.
Their aspirations are what's stopping them from that. So if you focus on the end result that they could get by working through their trauma, then you're marketing the right way. And so I want you all to think like that when you're looking at this. What is my audience's aspiration, right? For me, also, one of the things that I explained what my why is, why I get out of bed to work with speakers, is I know I'm here to change the world. I can't do that alone, and I can't just do it with my message. I want to help all of you get your messages out, because the ripple effect I get to have in the world is ginormous. You know, I have 200 people in my rooms for my speaker summit, which you all get access to in fall. You'll have more information about that as soon as I get the location locked down. But in that room, you have 200 people. If I think about each person, if they only affected, you know, in a normal room, you probably get, those people affect like 1,000 people in their lifetime. But if you're in my room, you're usually out there sharing a big message. So each person, I would say, can at least affect 10,000 people. So if I have 200 people, each person at 10,000, that's like 2 million people I get to serve, right? I don't know. I'm not a math girl, but I think that's right. And so the ripple effect we get to make is huge. So I really want you to think, like, what is the aspirations of my ideal audience, my client, the people I'm here to speak to create a movement and do something bigger with it, right? So
I'm
really
also thinking, as far as the aspirations of these people in this category, they're thinking beyond themselves. They want to make a difference for others. And so I'm thinking that that's where maybe some of the philanthropy piece will come in. Let's help the ones who most need it but can't afford it, who have served us, so that we have the freedom to go do what we want.
Yes.
So maybe I'll pose it that way.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the PDF. So for those who haven't gotten the course, over here you always have the downloads. So you click on those, and those are the worksheets. So, man, this is my old branding. I got to change that. But going in here and writing out, like really thinking about, what is the message you're here to share with the world? What is your expertise? This is a really quick way to give you that elevator pitch, right? Just to fill in these blanks. You can continue to craft it along the way, but I think to have something to start with is so important. So filling this out really gives you something to say all the time. And it's so funny because mine changes depending upon who I'm standing in front of. But this is usually what I say. I work with transformational leaders who are looking to make an impact, influence, change, and inspire others by teaching them how to build a successful speaking business and monetize their powerful message. So you would say, oh, she works with transformational leaders. She works with people who want to be speakers, build a speaking business, make money doing this. Okay, I know who to refer her to, right? I know who I could send to her and who might need her services. If you have a friend that's like, oh my gosh, she's been a struggling speaker, I should send her to you. Those kinds of things. So I want you to be able to have that, which is awesome. And then, really looking at your ideal audience. So when I talk about ideal audiences, I do it a little differently because I don't want you to niche it. I want your audience to be big and your message to be the place where you can niche it. Does that make sense? Because you could speak, like I could literally take this talk that I do and take it across the planet to any organization, I've done it for the Girl Scouts, I've done it all different ranges of things. And so when you look at your ideal audience, I want you to think, all right, at the end of this talk, so if you were giving a talk, at the end of this talk, I want these people to what? What do I want them to know different or do different? And what is the end result I want as a part of, like, they're my ideal audience, they're going to buy my course. They're my ideal audience, they're going to buy coaching from me. Whatever that is, they're my ideal audience to raise money, right? To get donations, because I work a lot with nonprofits. So it's, what is the end result I want the audience to do? So that you're not speaking to, even when I spoke for free for the Girl Scouts, but it was all just, I'm just here to teach them how to get their message and know that they're important and their message counts and all of that. But it wasn't there wasn't any end result for me. That was the one I just gave away. But when you're speaking and wanting to go in these audiences, I want you to always think, what's in it for the audience first? And then what's the end result I want out of this audience? So for you, Brada, like when I went to Women in Tech, I'm like, great. I couldn't pitch. I didn't have anything to pitch because I only got 5 minutes in front of the room. So there's not that much I could pitch, but I want to be good enough so people go, ooh, how can I get more of that? Right? And so you'll through this course, we're going to talk about those things, whether you have an offer or you don't have an offer, how to do that and how to navigate that, but be so amazing that they want to know. And Phoenix, I forgot to even give an offer at the TEDx thing that we did because I was so tired.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden everyone's like, wait, how do we work with you? And I was like, that's when you're good at what you do. When you can make an offer and people are like, but wait, we want more.
I think the one thing you have too is you're so real and personable that we want the information from you.
Yeah, thank you.
Because there's other people who do this, and I've worked with Tom Antion as well. He's a fine human being. Steve has an ego that is global. And so I just thought, and I've spent a lot of money with Steve, and I've gone to seminars where all he did was 3 days of, this is what I did, but not one word of, and this is how you can do it.
Yeah.
The tools. And so, yes, you leave us hungry with your humility and your personality.
Thank you. Yeah. And I know that this is what I'm here for. I mean, and it's funny, I watched some of these big speakers and they have like security around them and you can't get to them. I'm like, I never want to be the girl that you can't get to. At my events, I'm walking through the room. I'm in the bathrooms with you guys. I don't care because I never want to be untouchable because I don't think it's not who I am, but it's also doesn't relate to people like, oh, they're up there and I don't want to be that girl. I don't need to be, seen on this pedestal. I am just like all of you and you can do this too. So, and then for you, like, where do they hang out? So figuring out where your audience hangs out is important because you also want to think with the ideal audience is who are your ideal clients or whatever the end result is, right? So when you think about that, if I wouldn't probably go speak to plumbers about what I do because they're not my ideal, I don't want to really work with plumbers and that's okay. You don't have to. But I want you to think about who can I create and who can I bring in to working with when I'm doing these talks and the audiences that I am speaking to, right? So where they hang out is important because you need to know where to apply to speak, where you want to be in those rooms with those decision makers in the room. Okay, let's see here. And we just talked about the aspirations. What problems of yours are they solving? That one is, I would say that's about as negative as I get. That's really not even negative, but what you're thinking about their problems, your ideal audience, what are their problems and how are you solving it? How is your talk? How is your program? How is your charity? However, whatever your next step is, how are you solving that problem that they're experiencing is as negative as I would say you would go by just saying, hey, do you ever struggle with this? Right? I have too. That's what I created the Transformational Speakers Academy, right? So knowing their problems really helps you so you know that you're actually providing the exact solutions and that gives you your marketing speak. Problems are where you get your marketing speak. Because when you're putting out your stuff, you're like, do you ever experience, I don't know, headaches? This pill helps you with your headaches, right? So that's how we market is based on our problems. And then you say, and there's the solution. So really thinking about your ideal audience so you know the problems that you're solving for them. And then, like I said, who they are, where they hang out, whether their problems and aspirations, and then their buying triggers. And that goes back to also their problems, but buying triggers are also like, what are those aspirations they want? So I talk about that in the video. So you'll hear more about the buying triggers and that gives you some ideas of the things that if you think about, a lot of times we attract who we are, right? So we attract who we are a couple years ago because you have their same problems and you've found the solution. And so that's how you can go back and teach them, right? And so those same buying triggers that you have, you should start paying attention because what triggers you to buy and to take action will help your audience take action. So watching other people's sales, one of my favorite things to do is actually go and watch, what is that, HSN or whatever, and watch them sell. And at the beginning, I'm like, I don't want this pen. Like, why would I buy a pen? And then by the end, I'm like, I need that pen. I have aspirations of writing my signature in books with that pen. And like, all of a sudden you're like spinning out here of like these ideas of what you could do with this pen based on their sales. So it's cool to start watching these things so that you start seeing what your own triggers are so that you can use those in your own work. All right. Does that all make sense to everybody? Yeah. Okay. And here's this other piece is to really help you with your ideal clients. I just have you come up with some of these things. And what I would say is if you already have clients or you already have worked with someone that's really inspired you, like, this is who I want to work with, think of that person. So if I said Melissa's my ideal client, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so easy to work with her. She comes in, she's prepared, she's got her stuff ready. When we got on the first sales call, she said, I was already ready to sign up with you. I just needed to know what I needed to do next. Those are my new calls. I'm loving those. And then, you know, she always does her work. She comes and she supports other people. I want more of those kind of people. And look at their traits. What are the traits that she has? She shows up on time. So she's timely, she's respectful, she's, you know, all of these things, so that you can start saying, okay, universe, bring me more of that. Right. And then you can start crafting your message and your stories around that being your audience. So this really kind of helps you get out of, okay, here's the message I'm here to deliver, and say, but what's in it for them? This is why I start this. I know a lot of business coaches and stuff teach ideal clients and marketing and niching. But for me, the reason I'm saying this is because you really need to step into who they are as the audience and say, okay, if I am the audience member and I'm seeing myself speak on stage, what's in it for me? What am I struggling with? Who am I? And what can they help me do? And so it really gets you to get into what's in it for the audience. All right. And aspirations, problems. Aspirations are what drive people. I put some psychology stuff in here. Yeah. And always sell the transformation. That's what we're talking about. Those aspirations is sell that. How would you like to be like I'm about to run. So to get more people into this, I'm going to do another round. I'm going to do a 5-day challenge. And I'm excited to see how it works because I have a friend of mine who's a marketing guru, and she said these 5-day challenges sell really well into group coaching and online courses. So I'm like, all right, let's try it. So I'm calling it 5 days to a 5K speech. And so each day people are getting little videos, and then you sell into the course, right? So knowing that, see, I teach just so you all know, I teach from what I'm doing. So you see exactly how I'm doing it, when I'm doing it, so you can copy it. That's how I only teach what I've gone through and got really good results from. And after this challenge, if it really does work, then I'll start saying, okay, now I got results in this, and now I want to teach that to you as well. But in that, I'm going to sell the transformation. At the end of the 5 days, you will have your information, your talk ready to go. You know, you'll have more information because it's all this stuff that we're going over in the next 6 weeks, but in bite-sized pieces for them to work through. And if you feel like at the end of that, you could go out and go get a speaking gig anywhere. You could go to a meetup. You could go to eWomen Network. You could go wherever and start getting speaking engagements and be able to go from there. So people are like, ooh, 5K, a 5K speech. Because I don't want to see, and I'm the girl that's real. I'm not going to say, oh, it's a $10,000 speech. Yes, could you make $10,000 off of it? Of course. But I also want to be truthful and in integrity and saying in 5 days, you'll have something that you could actually go out and get hired for at least $5,000. You could go and sell to the back of the room for $5,000. You could do whatever, right? Knowing this stuff. If you still need more, join the course, right? So selling that transformation at the end of whatever it is, the end of my program, at the end of my speech, at the end of my, course, you will have what transformation. Sell that. Don't sell all the little steps. In week 1, we're going to go to here. In week 2, and week 3, sell at the end of it. You're going to have a $5,000 speech, right? So sell the transformation. You can go speaking on stages and speaking to your ideal audiences and all of that. So sell that transformation, not your steps and your process. Does that all make sense? When we're doing a talk?
Yeah, so a lot of people put the bulleted list. You'll have blah, 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 not the transformation. Okay, that's something I've missed.
Yeah. And it's fine. Like I have that in the sales video for this course for the people who need that. But really, truly, I talk about the aspirations. If you want to have this lifestyle, if you want to be speaking on stages, if you want to be making a difference, you want to inspire people, that's the transformation. This is the course you need because you'll get everything you need to make that transformation from wherever you are to point B, right? Point A to point B.
Kind of selling the solution to their aspirations.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So yes, Brett.
So, you typically your audience is like two distinct groups. So in the way you've described your profile, on the one hand, you have organizations like TEDx that need better speakers, better prepared people who make an impact. So you have a different pitch for them. Mm-hmm. And for the speakers, they have a need to be able to get the message through and be accepted and deliver a kick-ass speech, right, at TEDx. So similarly for me, I have these education boards in India where I have my network who need to be convinced that technology can, you can put the entire school curriculum on video. And then here you have technology people and philanthropists who may have grown up in India, and you want to inspire them to give back and, and provide some of the sponsorship for. So it's like two different ends of the audience with two, different value proposition that you have. So So do you like create one, one that says, okay, I am the bridge, and this is the unique combination of skills and experience that I bring that that helps me connect the school boards in India to the digitally savvy people in the US.
Yeah.
As well as the funds. The funds actually can come from the education board or from the philanthropist. So we don't know where it'll come from. But do you position yourself a little bit differently, or do you create one?
I would say for you, my intuitive thing would be you create, here's everything that we're doing, and here's the big vision, and here's how, and then people decide where they want to play. If they're a school person, right, they're sitting in the audience like, oh, this is how I can play in this game. And if it's a philanthropist, oh, look, this is where I get to play. They find their positions, right? So your talk, I want it to be open because you also want people who are like, man, I might not be tech savvy, but I really want to know more about that and how can I serve, right? Or I really want to know how I could help you get, get the computers, right? They're going to find their places to play based on your story and what the vision of what you're creating.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah, because then they get to choose in. So, all right. So that is week 1. Do we have any other questions about week 1 and some of the stuff we went over? You get to go in, I know, for Melissa, and how do you say it? Bharati?
Well, I'm Bratati.
Yeah. Okay, Bratati. That you guys haven't gone through this yet. However, now you see what it looks like, and you can go in there, and I'll send you those things out so you get to work on those right away. And then next week we'll be working on, I'm trying to think, I think it's creating our offers, because when we think about, now that we know who our audience is, then it's week 2, creating our framework, what we're going to teach, and the offer, what's at the end, what do you want people to step into, right? So that we can say, okay, then we start writing the speech backwards. And that's something that people don't normally do. I always say, well, what's in it for the audience and what's in it for me? And so based on those things, then you can craft, because you're also thinking about seating, your offers, you're talking about all the different ways, because maybe, so even in that group with Women in Tech, I could be seating that I also work over here with other people with TEDx speakers and with this, right? And then at the TEDx event, I can also say, and I work with corporate people, and I have an online course, and so I can say those things, even if that's not my offer, but I'm seeding out how people can choose to work with me. Just like you said, figuring out where they want to position themselves in that, right? So that's what we're going to do next week. So if you can at least get through the stuff this week and start working on that, that would be great. To come with questions, come with anything that you feel stuck. You can also post that in the Facebook group so that you can get feedback. And we will be putting some of our frameworks and our compelling offer stuff in the Facebook group so that you can get some feedback from some people that are outside of your realm. And so it makes sense to them. And so I think that'll be really great. I mean, a lot of times, yesterday I was sitting with the VP of Expedia, and he's very techie, and he's like telling me all these things. And he's like, and I'm like, I don't know if that's supposed to make sense to me, but I don't think it even makes sense to people who understand this. So can we move that back? So those are the things, like, because sometimes we use acronyms and sometimes we use different speak and we have all these things. I'm like, I don't think everybody's going to understand this. We want it to be something that everyone can understand. And so that's what we're going to be working through. So I think it'll be great to have the framework and the compelling offer and to get feedback from other people that might not be in your industry, or maybe they are. And the other cool thing about this is what I always say, in this group, you get to meet other speakers who speak about different things. And this is how I get more of my speaking engagements. Someone says, hey, Erin, I'd love to have you speak. And I say, if you would like more speakers, if you still have position for that, let me show you this, right? Oh, you should speak to Devi. Devi teaches how to have a podcast course, right? How to have a podcast. So you should go to her, right? So then you all start networking for one another, and then you look like a rock star to the organizer, but also to the person you just referred, right? So getting to know other speakers is a major part of this. So make sure you go in the group, the Facebook group, introduce yourself, say what you do, say if you're looking for something, if you're looking for designer, you're looking for, I don't know, all those different things, find a way to partner and meet other people in the group, because they can be your lifeline to more speaking engagements. All right. Okay. Today's done. It's a wrap.
Bye.
All right. I will see you all next week.
Yep.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.